Good afternoon, Air Force 12. This is your pilot speaking. We are starting our descent into the Kamala International Airport, just right outside of where the border is being crossed. But she didn't want to go here. But where does she want to go? El Paso it is, folks. We are being rerouted to El Paso. What's going on, folks? Black Pill Red here. And your girl, Kamala, decided to visit the border here in Texas. But there was one problem. She was just a little bit off. About 800 miles off. Check it out.
She announces that they're going to El Paso. El Paso is a lovely city. It is a beautiful place in Texas. It is not also, it also doesn't happen to be the locus of the crisis.
No, that's
you
the Rio
look
Grande
at where
Valley.
the Rio Grande Valley is, and for folks who aren't from Texas, let me give you a sense. So El Paso is on the western tip of Texas. The Rio Grande Valley is almost on the southern tip of Texas. It's 800 miles away.
And as she arrived here in Texas, she had a welcome party. Everyone was thanking her and praising her service as the VP. Okay, I'm lying. But as she arrived on the tarmac, and remember, that was a drop. But as she arrived on the tarmac, she pretty much gave her opinion. Her and several other people gave some opinions on what they were doing there. Check this video out.
Hi, everyone. Well, it's good to be back in Texas. And I am honored to be joined by Secretary Mayorkas, by Chairman Durbin, by Congresswoman Escobar. We have a day planned that will be about, as much as anything, addressing the effects of what I've already been addressing, which are the root causes of migration, predominantly out of Central America.
Immigration is a critical element in the history and the future of the United States. But when you look at the challenges of immigration today, one of the greatest challenges is Congress has failed to pass any significant change in immigration laws in 35 years. We have a broken immigration system. Many people complain about it, but it's up to Congress to do something about it.
Now, Durbin actually said that it was a broken immigration system. Oh, I have my pad here. A broken immigration system. But here's the bad part about it. Trump had the immigration system at its lowest. Its lowest that it's been in the past 40 some odd years. Ted Cruz verified that. Check this out.
Maine and Mexico was an international agreement that President Trump had negotiated with Mexico, where Mexico agreed that anyone who crossed illegally into Mexico, they would stay there in Mexico while their U.S. asylum case proceeded. And it ended up working incredibly well. Last year, in the year 2020, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. It was incredibly successful. When Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tore that international agreement to shreds, we went from the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years to today, the highest rate in over 20 years. We've already had 500,000 people come in illegally, and we're on pace for more than 2 million people in the first year of the Biden-Harris administration.
But then she ends up on the tarmac, continuing to lie. And she just, there's another video I want to post. I'm gonna have to dig this video up. And I want you to see how she tries to convince the viewers that she's smarter than what she is. She's gonna fill the screen with a bunch of useless adjectives and verbs to make it seem like she knows what she's talking about, but she's really not saying anything. But we're gonna get to that later. But check this little spot out.
How did you decide that right now was the right time to make your first trip to the border?
Well, it's not my first
And
trip.
then she lies, of course. Oh, I was going to, I had already made plans to go to the border. Really? The last time she was at the border was when the last administration was in office.
Right now was the right time to make your first trip to the border.
Well, it's not my first trip. I've been to the border many times.
As the person in charge of the response.
So, the important aspect of this visit is leading this visit after the work that we did in Guatemala and Mexico. Because as I've long said, I said back in March I was going to come to the border, so this is not a new plan. But the reality of it is that we have to deal with causes and we have to deal with the effects. So being in Guatemala, being in Mexico, talking with Mexico as a partner, frankly, on the issue, was about addressing the causes, and then coming to the border at the advice and actually the invitation of the Congresswoman is about looking at the effects of what we have seen happening in Central America. And so I'm glad to be here. It was always the plan to come here. And I think we're going to have a good and productive day.
What was your Title 42 be repealed, ma'am?
But why did you think now?
So exit. Stage left.
She couldn't wait to get away from them. Exit stage left quickly because she didn't want to answer any questions. But then she keeps going. She keeps going. She keeps filling this bowl of lies with more lies. Okay, now, a few episodes back, I titled an episode, "If I'm occupying your mind rent-free, I may as well get 2 bedrooms." Well, she may as well go ahead and increase it to about 3 or 4 bedrooms because she cannot stop attempting to blame the last administration for what's going on at the border.
And anything else you'd like to discuss? Our administration, it is important to be clear, is working to build a fair and a functional and a humane immigration system. We feel very strongly about that. And as you know, we inherited a tough situation.
But here's the problem. Your boss, as well as you, made it okay for immigrants to come here. Now, don't get me wrong. You have some that are from Mexico, but you have some that are from other countries also. And they're mixing themselves in with them. But the present occupant of the fake White House says that he wanted to surge. He said that people should surge and try to get into the United States. Why?
Then you serve as vice president in an administration that deported 3 million people, the most ever in U.S. history. Did you do anything to prevent those deportations? I mean, you've been asked this question before and refused to answer, so let me try once again. Are you prepared to say tonight that you and President Obama made a mistake about deportation?
Latino should look at is comparing this president to the president we have is outrageous. Number one, we didn't lock people up in cages. We didn't separate families. We didn't do all of those things. Number one. Number two, by the time this is the president who came along with the DACA program. No one had ever done that before. This is the president who sent legislation to the desk saying he wants to find a pathway for the 11 million undocumented in the United States of America. This is the president who's done a great deal. So I'm proud to have served with him. What I would do as president is several more things because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come. I would change the order that the president just changed, saying women who were being beaten and abused could no longer claim that as a reason for asylum.
In fact, right here in El Paso was the launch of the child separation policy. You saw it as it rolled out on the ground in real time. We have looked at a system where people have been housed in inhumane conditions over the last many years. An asylum system that has been broken and that needs to be reconstructed. And in 5 months, we've made progress.
Now, as for the children, being a police officer, I'm letting you know, whenever we have to make an arrest and you have a person that has children in the car, that child has to go to CPS. Now, it's okay for us to do it this way. But at the border, they said he was wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He implemented the same rules at the border that's already in place. If the parent is in trouble with the law, they have to go to court. That child is taken to CPS or a holding facility for children.
This facility, the video you are looking at shows us touring around the facility, and it was handed out by the federal government. The Border Patrol told us close to 200 people inside were minors unaccompanied by a parent. Another 500 were family units, that's parents and children. Many adults who cross the border without legal permission could be charged with illegal entry and placed in jail away from their children. Nearly 2,000 children have been taken from their parents since Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced the policy, which directs Homeland Security officials to refer all cases of illegal entry into the United States for prosecution. Church groups and human rights advocates have sharply criticized this policy, calling it inhumane. Facility behind me is essentially a clearinghouse for these illegal entry cases. When there are families involved, this is a place where families are separated because the parents' next step is to go to federal court. The children then go to facilities that are run by the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Refugee Resettlement. In many cases, the parents are being given handouts on how to find their children once their legal cases are disposed.
And I are absolutely committed to ensuring that our immigration system is orderly and humane. We are seeing here in El Paso unaccompanied minors who I spent time with, who are filled with optimism, but they are without their family.
No, Mrs. Vice President. For the record, migrant children are not optimistic and okay. Maybe you didn't catch that in today's quick tour of the Border Patrol facility in El Paso. But if you traveled a few miles further to Fort Bliss Army Base, you'd find that kids are so miserable in their cages, some of them have been placed on suicide watch. In fact, dozens have been placed on suicide watch. This is according to reporting from CBS News, who says the following: federal officials became so concerned about migrant teens harming themselves that they banned pencils, pens, scissors, nail clippers, and regular toothbrushes inside tents housing hundreds of children. According to an internal document, workers at the site said they were even instructed to remove the metal nose clips from N95 face masks. Here now, former White House senior advisor and America First legal founder, Stephen Miller. Stephen, great to have you on the program.
Thank you.
So the report from CBS News suggests that kids are being held something like 60 days. They're being held in migrant facilities, moved on from their initial Border Patrol facilities, but 60 days, and it's taking a toll. Dozens of kids now who are looking not just depressed, but looking into self-harm. What's going on here? How does this get resolved?
The Trump administration solved the unaccompanied minor crisis in a sustainable way through humane repatriation to aliens' home countries. That single act ended most child trafficking on our border. The new administration made a conscious decision over the objections of career officials, some of whom they've since terminated. They made a conscious, deliberate decision to end the repatriation policy. And instead, they have long-term housing, followed by release to unknown sponsors in many cases inside the United States. That means it is open season on children in Latin America because smugglers, coyotes, and traffickers can advertise you will successfully gain entry into the United States. And desperate people make desperate decisions. I want to be very clear about something. This is not a case of Harris and Biden trying but failing to secure the border. This is the case of Biden and Harris trying and succeeding in destroying the border. Only if you understand that can you understand everything else that is going on.
And here are just a few things that Trump accomplished while he was in office. Oh, before I go, there's one little nugget that I want to show you guys. If you keep up with the currency stuff, you may like this. I was debating if I was going to put this at the end, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put it on there at the end. But yeah, and to make you guys watch until the end. Oh, you can fast forward to the end. But if you keep up with foreign currency and all of that, you may like this at the end. All right, it's something good. Check it out. Black Period.
What's up, guys? I am here to announce for the first time ever, confirmed by multiple sources. Check out this video we got live from Portugal happening right now. It is 6:30 in the morning there, and they are announcing that they have kicked off GESARA. GESARA has started. I know that we were under the impression that it would start here in the U.S. first. It seems like that's not going to be true, that it's going to start on what is the west coast of Europe. So that would be Portugal, Spain, coming into the UK and Ireland. It's going to spread from there east. It'll wrap around the world, and NESARA GESARA has kicked off, much like predicted. Stay on top of your bank accounts. Check and look for debt forgiveness letters. Everything that they've predicted is coming true. Look at this celebration. This is not, you don't celebrate just anything like this. This is a huge celebration over in Portugal. And I'm not the only one who figured this out. I think we were all notified at the same time from some top intel sources. It has kicked off. The reevaluation should go through today. If you have dinar, make sure you're working on turning those in. Get an appointment. If you have Zimbabwe dollars, any type of currency. If you have the bonds, the birth certificate and Social Security bonds, make sure you're checking in on those. The time is now. If we go ahead, right here, look, this just happened seconds ago.
Just call in. All right.
I guess this guy's out in the field reporting. He's having to call in. He must be on site somewhere that's already excited. Already started with GESARA. Listen here.
All right, so can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right,
Thank you for the sub.
We have the name correct, BC. All right. Also, in Portugal, we believe.
Portugal, that's right.
Celebration started tonight about 7 p.m. with a sign, fireworks going off behind it, people celebrating in front of it.
Listen.
It said GESARA.
GESARA, which means GESARA, we all know because we pronounce it right. Everything's happening just as they predicted. Stop the tour buses. Set the brakes. Get off. Run out in the streets. Celebrate. GESARA is coming. We'll never have to suffer again. My aunt in Portugal just said this is true. Look.
Wow, that's huge.
Everybody's got money. Check your bank account. It's happening. The reevaluation, the dollar bills, Zimbabwe dinar.
Oh, we thought we did.
Nope, it's starting worldwide. It started with GESARA and it's coming here.
From what I was just told, but the smaller countries have less resistance.
That's right.
Have started.
Guys, if you don't believe this is happening, I don't know what to tell you. They said it. I sort of said it. Charlie Ward confirmed it. It's happening. It's time to check your bank accounts. It's time to celebrate. Go wake somebody up. Go tell them GESARA is here. NESARA will be here within a couple hours, I'm sure. And finally, we can clean up the cabal and do what we were meant to do with our money, which is just help each other and all be millionaires with the Vatican gold. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. This is the official announcement. GESARA has kicked off. If you don't believe me, take it up with Frog News Network or take it up with Charlie Ward. They're both saying it too. And if you don't know, Charlie Ward is the head of the QFS. Okay?